Hello everybody, this is Calamity Panda here, reminding you to kiss your homies goodnight, right on the lips. Today's video is going to be all about Primogems and other currencies. We're just going to talk about how to obtain all of them and like what they do and what you should use them for. So, the very first one we're going to talk about is probably the most popular one, Primogems. How do you get them? And the answer is really easy. You just play the game. It's pretty self-explanatory. Do quests, explore, do achievements, stuff like that. But what you should focus on first and foremost when it comes to getting your Primogems or trying to optimize your Primogem gains is to always do your dailies and to do any events that are currently happening in the game. So if we back out of here for a sec, the number one thing you always want to check is this top right button here next to the Battle Pass button. And you always want to check to make sure that you have done every single event as much as you can do. Obviously, if you're a new player, some of these combat-related challenges might be a little too hard for you at first. That's okay. Remember that to get the Primogem rewards, it's usually you just have to do like the easiest difficulty still gets you all of the Primogem rewards. So just do your best. Try to get as much as you can. Sometimes events are big like this. This is what we call the main event, or the flagship event, whichever you want to call it. This event in particular not only gives you Primogems, but a lot of other materials as well as a 4-star character. And to do this event, you're exploring basically a whole new area. And you still have 4 days to do it. So if you're watching this now and you just started playing, or you're returning for 5.0, get on it. And I know for new players, you might not have access to this because you need to reach a certain adventure rank. So when you're first starting out, yeah, you need to reach at least Adventure Rank 18 and complete an Archon quest. So, I guess when you're first starting out, just focus on trying to get that Adventure Rank up so you can unlock quests. You also want to unlock dailies, which is what I talked about earlier. Dailies are these 4 little quests that will pop up, well, every day. Self-explanatory there. And as you do them, you get 10 Primogems per daily, and then you turn them in at your local Adventurers Guild, and you'll get another 40 gems that way. Don't forget, you don't actually have to do these in dailies in particular. You will still get rewarded daily credit from doing things like simple exploration, participating in events, and things like that. Or if you can craft condensed resin, that will also count towards your doing your dailies. But yeah, once you've done your dailies and you've completed all the events, then you can go back to doing other stuff like I mentioned before, because that stuff is permanent. There's no timer, there's no rush to complete, all the story or to do all those character quests, side quests, teapot stuff, achievements, etc., etc. Those will always be in the game, so no worries there. So what can you do with Primogems? The obvious answer to most of us is to spend them on limited character banners. You can also spend them on weapon banners and standard banners. However, I'm just going to say this right now, do not spend them on the standard banner, okay? Spending your Primogems on the standard banner is too much of a gamble and honestly a waste. It is always, always, always better to go for a limited character banner because it's more focused. There are 3 4-stars and 1 5-star on a limited banner, and your target pulling for a certain character, so your odds of pulling what you want are much, much higher. If you go to a standard character, just going to the details page here, it'll pop up, and you click on the list of items. Look at all these 5-stars that are on the stand banner. There's 7, and then there's also while it's cool that the standard banner has both 5-star characters and weapons, that means when you pull a 5-star on the standard banner, you could get any of these. That's a lot of RNG. That's a lot of risk. Look at the 4-stars. There's a lot of 4-star characters on this list, and with more being added every update, they're gonna add more and more characters, especially with Natlan coming out. Some of those 4-star characters are gonna be added to the standard banner. So yeah, do not pull on the standard banner with your Primogems. You are given another currency called Acquaint Fates. You'll probably notice this when you first start playing as well. From exploration and events and stuff like that. And use this if you want to pull on the standard banner. You might get a lot of these at first, but then you'll definitely start to notice like a lack of standard banner pulls, and that's okay. Alright, so just use this when you get them naturally from the game, but do not convert your Primogems into this wish. The other wish that exists in the game is called Intertwined Fates. Now these are the ones that are only for limited banners and for the weapon banners. Remember, you can also convert your Primogems into additional fates if you want, but I just leave it. I just leave my Primogems as is. If you want to convert them, it's totally up to you, but don't feel like you have to. Alright, let's talk about other currencies that are in the game that are not necessarily shown to you. So, this is Genesis Crystals, and this is also proof that I'm a dirty spender of this video game, or at least I used to be. It's been a long time since I've actually pulled out the credit card, okay? I know that's... yeah, sure, Panda, but it's serious. Seriously. It's been a long time. This is just left over from when I last bought the Welkin, but yeah. Genesis Crystals basically get converted into Primogems. So if you click plus here, you can see you can convert your Genesis Crystals into Primogems. I can get 300 Primogems just by doing this. It's up to you, but you can also use the Genesis Crystals to obtain character outfits if you want as well. There's a bunch of character outfits that have been released over the years. If you want them, you're going to need Genesis Crystals. Not only that, there's actually 2 more currencies called Starglitter and Stardust. And as you can see, it even tells you how do you get these currencies. You just pull on banners. Both the standard banner, the limited banner, or the weapon banner will give you Starglitter and Stardust. Now what can you do with Stardust? Or excuse me, what can you do with Starglitter? Let's start with that first. The first thing you might notice is that, yeah, you can actually buy more wishes. You get the ability to get more wishes from, well, wishing. And then you can see here, I could get up to another 40 10 pulls, which is really good. So if you're ever, like, really wanting a certain 5-star character, you're just not getting it, you're not getting lucky, you lost the 50-50, you could sacrifice some of your Starglitter to get some pulls, and then hopefully your luck turns out to be a lot better. That's totally up to you. Do not waste your Starglitter on standard pulls. However, this is again a waste. Do not do this. The other thing that will be up here next to the wishes are 2 characters, 2 4-star characters is what I should say. The characters will change every month. So at the time of recording, it's Beto and Noel. September comes around. I'm not really sure what the characters will be yet. But you can spend 34 Starglitter to purchase the character themselves or a constellation of said character. But as you can see, I already have Beto and Noel at C6. That's why I have the little red warning saying, hey, you don't need to buy this. But if it was a character I don't have C6 of, it would just be normal. So just FYI on that. The other thing that you could consider spending your hard-earned Starglitter on is the weapon set here. Paimon actually sells 2 types of weapon sets here. The Royal set. They all have the same effect, by the way. They're just different weapon types with the same effect. And the other set is the Black Cliff weapon set. The Royal set is honestly booty cheeks. Don't bother wasting your Starglitter on that. However, the Black Cliff set is a bit better. It's not like best in slot or top tier OP weapon, but it is a good placeholder as a 4-star weapon for some of your characters out there if you're lacking, you know, any decent weapon for them or you can't craft anything yet. So you could, if you want to, spend some Starglitter on there. Although I would save my Starglitter and only buy the Black Cliff weapons, only if you have nothing else. You're really just lacking the weapons right now. Now, other things you can spend your Starglitter on, and I don't recommend this, is monster materials. All of these are drops from various monsters in Teyvat, and these are used to ascend characters and weapons, so you might be lacking some of these. I'm just going to tell you the honest answer. Save your Starglitter and don't be lazy, okay? All of these can be farmed in-game. Look up a optimal farming route if you need to, or just use the one in-game. That will show you the location of the monsters. Do anything but spend your hard-earned Starglitter on monster materials, okay? Just don't be lazy. You want to save the Starglitter for characters that you want, or those emergency additional temples if things aren't going your way on a ban. Always. Then maybe a weapon or 2 if you really need it from the Blackcliff set, not the Royal set. Alright, let's talk about the other currency, which is Stardust. Now, Stardust, feel free to actually spend this on your monster materials here. If you are lacking some monster materials, then okay, yeah, sure, go ahead. Spend some, get some, it's okay, because Stardust is definitely more numerous than Starglitter. And make sure you always save 750 Stardust every month, because every month you'll be able to buy 5 limited banner pulls and 5 standard pulls. And I always, always, always recommend buying those every month. It's free pulls at the cost of very little Stardust. As you can see, I buy them every month and I'm doing pulls and I still have thousands and thousands of Stardust, which I could use to get a couple of extra monster drops if I wanted to be lazy. But you know, even then, I really don't need anything on here. If you are lacking some Mora, I guess you could use it for that. But I don't recommend using it for these EXP books or the weapon enhancement materials, because you can farm Mystic Enhancement Ore and forge that at any city. So don't bother here. Don't be lazy is the moral of the story here. And these Adventure EXP books are so numerous, especially if you're out there exploring. You get them in just about every chest. And it's also worth noting that this isn't even the best EXP material. It's the purple books that are better, right? The purple adventure books. Those are the ones you want. And don't waste your Stardust on these ones. There is one more currency that I want to talk about. I hope you didn't think I forgot about it. It is, well, Mora. Mora is found literally everywhere. Just like you find Primogems, you do quests, you do exploration stuff. You're rewarded with Mora and gems and stuff like that. You can also farm them at ley lines if you are really desperate. You get them from events, stuff like that. Your dailies also give them. Mora is probably going to feel really tight as a new player because you're probably building several characters. And even if you're focusing on one character, trying to get their talent levels high, you know, leveling up their ascensions and talents and weapons and artifacts, that's going to cost a lot of Mora for just one character even. So there's actually a lot of ways to make Mora. The first thing that we can talk about are expeditions. Expeditions are like little, well, they're like side quests or like, well, expeditions where you can send characters out to do some work and they'll come back with rewards for you. So you can see here Bennett is off to do some mining and he's going to come back with all these materials for me. I have Fischl getting me some meat. I guess she's hunting or whatever. There's Mora as well. That's the one I want to talk about. Always go for the longest period you could go for. I made this mistake when I first started playing. I thought, oh, you know, since I'm playing, let's do the 8-hour, the 12-hour, or whatever increments because I'm always on the game. Anyways, it's actually better just to go for the max one because obviously you get the most reward. But that also means it'll be like synergized with your dailies because dailies reset once every day. So will your expedition, so you can do like both of them at the same time, sort of thing. And remember, you can only have 5. I kind of wish they would up this limit. But yeah, there are multiple regions now, and then there's going to be a Natlan region soon, right? Well, with even more expeditions. But I usually try to have characters set up in the Mora expedition, and you know I have Kujo Sari here also give me Mora. So every time I collect money from my expeditions, I could get 15k Mora every day just from logging in and doing my expeditions. But I'm doing 10k just because I have Fischl hunting food, just because. But yeah, if you want to be super optimal, you can have 3 characters on Mora and you'll get 15k that way. Pretty easy money right there. Right, let's talk about bounties and requests real fast. So every major town in Teyvat will have a reputation place, NPC. And when you talk to them, you can do 3 bounties every week and 3 requests every week. So bounties, at least for Leeway and Mondstadt, are like these, you sort of have to track down your target. It's kind of tedious. You track down your target and you have to fight them, but be wary because these monsters do have some elemental immunity and they're a bit tougher than what you're used to fighting. However, you also have a time limit to beat them in, but the time limit is very generous, and don't worry, you could have like a really bad team and you'll still probably end up beating it before the time limit. But the point is, doing these bounties at the max difficulty will reward you 30k Mora. And you do 3 of these, so that's almost 100k. It's 90k, but you do the request, you also get Mora. As you can see here, 20k Mora per request. So all in all, you get about like 150k Mora from doing your bounties and requests every week. So that's a nice chunk there. Remember that even if you do reach the maximum level of reputation in any town, you can still do bounties and requests for that region. I recommend Inazuma, Sumeru, or Fontaine for your bounties and requests. You should obviously get every town to max reputation, no doubt, because you unlock certain items, gadgets, recipes, and other collectibles along the way. So it's always worth doing. But once you've maxed out everything, the easiest bounties and requests, in my opinion, are like in places like Fontaine and Sumeru. For sure. And Inazuma. Natlan, I'm sure, will also be pretty easy when it comes to bounties and requests. So make sure to do these every week. Again, before we end this video, I do want to just say that as a new player, again, you're building a lot of characters, you're upgrading stuff. It is still going to feel like Mora is definitely tight around the collar, especially as a new player. And that's just how it is. We all had to kind of go through it, but eventually you get to the part where once you get some characters solidly built, you're happy with where they're at, you're not spending Mora as much, and then it just begins to stockpile a lot more. Like if you saw how much I had, I was like sitting at like 20 million plus Mora, and that's because I just don't build characters as much as I used to anymore, since I'm happy with what I have. But again, I will just point this out one more time, just if you have to, don't feel bad for spending a couple of your resin on doing ley lines for Mora. Oh, something else I forgot to mention before I end this video. You can use Primogems to refill your resin. However, I'm just going to tell you this right now. Do not spend your Primogems on this, okay? You will be given a different item called Fragile Resin just from playing the game. In various parts, you even get it for free in the Battle Pass. You don't have to pay for the Battle Pass. You'll get this for free. And it will replenish 60 resin, which is the same amount of resin that's restored if you use 50 Primogems. Do not use Primogems to restore your energy. I don't know how many times I have to repeat this, but don't. It's not needed. It's not necessary. Energy is only used to farm domains, bosses, and ley lines. You do not need to use energy to explore, do achievements, do your teapot, do story quests, etc., like in other gacha games where you need energy to progress the main story or an event. Genshin doesn't need or doesn't do any of that. So you're free to play this game as much as you want without worrying about your energy holding you back. Like, yes, obviously using your resin to help you level up characters is going to help you progress in the story easier, but only use Fragile Resin if you really, really need to do so. Don't use Primogems. It's also okay to take breaks from the game and come back tomorrow. The game is not going anywhere. And with that being said, that is actually going to be the end of the video, so hopefully this was helpful to somebody out there. If you feel like there's anything I forgot to mention about currencies, how to earn them, how to optimally spend them, feel free to leave a comment down below. Or if you have any additional questions, I'll do my best to try to answer you. But thank you so much for watching. Don't forget to leave a like and or subscribe to the channel. It helps me out a lot, and I will see you all in the next video.